there, but I cannot believe that it's still 7:30. We made it.
Yeah,
So
wow. Right in the nick of time.
I don't know if it's, like, on my end, it might be, like, an internet issue with I think my parents were, like, streaming The Chosen, so that could be a problem. That's probably why. Hi, Candace.
That's okay. Hi. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for joining me. I am really pumped about this. Hopefully, this will be more productive than our last attempt to do Writing Sprints because that was really rough.
Yeah, hopefully.
It was my fault. I kept distracting you. That was my bad.
That's
But I
okay.
do
We distracted each other.
yeah, fair enough. I wasn't sure what time you wanted to start with, like, if you wanted to start with a longer one or do a shorter one.
Um, I don't really care. I'm flexible. I think what I'm starting with is kind of just like organizing what I'll actually be working on in this. So I'm okay if we start
Okay,
with like a bit of a little one to just kick it off and then maybe get into the meat of it after.
okay, that sounds good. Little one being 15, 20?
Yeah, that's fine. 15's good.
Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of in a similar boat. Like, I'm not, like, strictly writing. I'm doing like, I might do a couple little scenes, but they're kind of just, like, get to know my character scenes, so they're more
Mhm.
like word spurts, not, like, actually sitting down to, like, get into the meat of my story, so that's good.
Yeah.
Let's start with a short one and
Okay.
see where it goes.
That's a good plan.
Okay, ready for this?
I'm ready.
Go. Oh, sorry. That's not what I thought that sound was going to be. Gross.
It's a dramatic sound.
So obnoxious. Ew. Let's go back.
That's okay. They're much better. We need the birds back. There we go.
Ugh. So how'd it go?
It was pretty good. I got a good plan of what I'm going to work on. And since I'm working on rewriting right now, I went through the chapter I want to rewrite and just kind of took notes on everything that's happening, what I like, what I don't like, etc. So I feel a lot more prepared to go forward. How about you?
I mean, I didn't like get a ton done, kind of like about a page. It's sort of like preliminary. I don't normally do this. Like, normally I'll do all my planning beforehand and then I'll just start the writing phase. But with this, I can't quite start the writing phase yet, but I want to get a feel for the voices of my two protagonists. Because what I really don't want to happen is to get to the phase where I'm ready to like write because I know the plot and then just not know what they sound like and not be able to like capture their voice. So I'm trying to like get a feel for how they think and like what their POV is like. So it's kind of fun because there's no pressure. Like none of these scenes are going to actually make it into the story. It's just like getting comfy with who they are kind of thing.
That's true. That's nice.
Yeah. I'm working on like their like dark moments from their past. So it should give me like insight into who they are as people. Very cool.
You love those.
Yeah. Again, like will this get into the final thing? No, but I still need to know what those moments are. So this way I'm like super familiar with it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I do. I've had like, well, what I do when I have new stories idea. I'm not a seasoned story maker, but the few times I've had like random story ideas that I really love and want to kind of like file away to come back to later. I always love doing that. Like, you know, basic characters, whatever, basic plot. And I'm like, oh, just to have fun with it, I'll like write one scene with them just so I kind of, you know, dip my toes in and then I can come back to it later.
I love that. I have like a lot of my old notebooks have like a bunch of scenes from a story that I never got around to writing, but just like loved in my head. And so I just like write random scenes from it that made me feel happy. So much of that was written in class. That was back in high school. So, I mean, you know, things were a little casual by the end of high school, but yeah, a lot of those scenes just got me through high school. Really.
Nice. They serve their purpose.
Yeah, exactly. Even if that story never gets written, I'm grateful to it. What are you thinking now? Oh, create with Mary.
Editing. Nice.
Just finished my book a few days. Oh, sorry. I'll pop your comment up here so that everybody can see it. Hi, I just finished my book a few days ago, so I'm taking a few days off from the writing. Wise. Working on editing a YouTube video instead. Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah, 100%. Thank you for joining us. I feel that. You know what I read the other day? Oh, what was it? I think it was 6 weeks. It was in a book called Go Teen Writers, and an author recommended that once you finish a book, you should let it sit for 6 weeks before you like do anything with it. So like it is valuable and valid to take a break after you're finished. So
nice.
Also congratulations on finishing your book.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And we will start the sprint again so that you can get back to your YouTube video.
Yeah.
What do you as far as like a length goes?
We can probably get to a longer one, like a 25-minute one or something.
Okay. Do you want to do just half an hour?
Sure. Yep.
It's simple. I'm so excited that Create with Mara finished her book. That's feeling. Okay, ready, everybody?
Ready.
See you in a bit.
Sounds good.
that's better. Nice. How was that one, Candace?
It was good. Yeah, it was really productive for me.
Sweet. Mine is not that productive.
Oh no. I'm sorry for you.
It was okay. I finished the one scene and now I'm just kind of like getting into the other, but I've switched characters and I've never written from this one's perspective. So it's like, how does she talk? I don't know. I'm not sure.
That's hard, yeah.
Mare says, ooh, you have another first draft in the wings. You'll be working on that one while you let this one sit for at least those 6 weeks. Nice. Nice. It is always good to have another project that you can flip to when you're taking a break. And then I asked if she can do 2 projects at once, if she can multitask. So I'm going back to revise it now. I finished that one in October. I cannot multitask on projects. I get so overwhelmed. Projects are fantasy and sci-fi, so there's too much to keep track of. Yeah.
That makes sense.
I feel that. I am trying to do that currently, and it is definitely a challenge, especially with fantasy and sci-fi.
Yeah, that's why I haven't permeated the world of fantasy and sci-fi yet. Staying in simpler times.
Yeah, it's a lot. There's just it's like you said, there's just so much to keep track of, and then when you have multiple worlds going on and you're trying to build both of them, I don't know, that can get complicated.
That's
Definitely.
tough.
But you've tried a couple different things. Your thing right now is sort of futuristic, but then you had one that was sort of in the past.
Yeah, that's
what do you rate, Candace? Good question. Let's wait.
Well, yeah, the one I'm writing right now is futuristic, but it's not. I still have to. Definitely have to do more world building to figure out exactly the futuristic vibe because I feel like I like some modernity, but then I also love the kind of dystopian futuristic, the past repeats itself idea, like in Rook. I love that kind of style of world. So it's a little bit dilapidated. I don't really know. I'm bad at explaining my projects, but not like magic systems. I have not been brave enough. I want to in one sense, but also I don't feel like I could tackle it in a way that I would actually be happy with it. I feel like either I would feel like I'm copying a different magic system, which of course there's so many, you can't help but do one very similar to another.
Yeah, fair.
But also, I don't know, either I'd get so into it that I'd kind of get lost in the mix. Your world is so cool, Nikki. It's so complicated. I don't know how you literally came up with that with your brain. That is
6 years, Candace.
What?
Time.
Yeah, that's true. Years and years and years. But yeah, so I'm not willing to attempt that. But more historical stuff. Past, future. I have a few medieval-ish royalty projects that I would love to do. They're just kind of ideas at this point, but in the future I'd love to flesh them out a bit.
Nice. Did you ever read what kind of royalty stuff, Selection series?
I did not read the Selection series. I want to, even though I've heard it's geared toward middle school and early teens.
Probably.
But I'm I missed it when I was in that age. So I'm I kind of want to read it now just to see what the hype is about. But kind of that style, I just listened to I was telling you about these a little while ago, 2 book series by Melanie Sellier, and it is a magic system. It is kind of fantasy in that sense, but it's royalty, and I just loved them so much. I loved the whole royal vibe, royal school or court and that whole element. And I love period dramas, shows about royalty and all that kind of stuff. All those time periods are so fascinating to me. So I don't know exactly specifics what I would want to write, but just something along the royalty line. You could do so much with it.
Yeah, do it. That sounds so good. Royalty stuff is the best because it's just so foreign to us that I feel no matter what you do with it, there's something romantic about it that readers just love. So
It really is.
that sounds amazing. Is that a satisfying answer, man?
Let's see. So cool writing historical fiction. Oh,
All the research. Oh yeah.
that's true. That's why I go futuristic, because I can do kind of whatever I want. Because it's like we could evolve a whole bunch and have crazy technology, or we could like, revert back to previous rudimentary technology, and
Right.
nobody knows what will happen in like 200-300 years. So I have a lot of freedom.
Is that a cop out? I feel like I'm in the same boat. Like I purposely try to avoid projects that require me to do research because it's just like, oh no, thanks.
I know. Yeah, exactly. I don't like the research aspect.
Some people live for that. Like they love that part of it. And I mean, I'm glad they exist, but like that's not me. Yikes.
Yeah,
Okay.
the extent of my research, my other project, is a retelling of the Esther story in the Bible. And so a lot of my research was just like studying the book of Esther and like noticing all the details that I didn't notice before.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I've read it so many times, but there's like little, I don't know, details about like the eunuch, like the head of the concubines, and who Esther would communicate with, and the
Right.
whole dynamic of the king and seriousness of the court in those days. And so that was kind of the research. And then I did a little bit of research on like Persian weddings in those days, like any specific traditions that might have existed back then, or that kind of stuff. I do want to do more. I still you'd think I'm like really into it already. You'd think I would have decided if it's past or future. I've been super vague. So in my rewrite of it, I'm going to be more specific and figure out if I want to be like historically accurate back in those days, or if I just want to do my own modern thing with it.
Yeah, yeah. I think either would be really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So is it like at this point in that story, you have like part of a draft kind of thing?
In my Esther story, yeah, it's like I forget how many chapters in I am, but I'm kind of at the point they just got married.
Oh,
so
nice.
It's like a chunk, but there's still a lot more to go. You've got the whole, the plot against the king, and then obviously the plot against the Jews. So we still have a lot of meat to get through in that story, but I've got like a good chunk kind of set up. I've got my characters pretty established and whatnot.
Nice. At least that work is done. So like when you decide what time period you're going to put it in, at least you know like your characters decently well.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not too worried about that. Yeah, I want to read some Esther retellings. I know there are definitely ones out there, or like just retellings in general. I've enjoyed fairy tale retellings in the past. I want to read more of them just to get more of a feel for that whole like retelling genre.
Yeah. I love retellings, but I haven't read a lot of like biblical ones other than I guess like the Kingdom series is kind of, isn't that just one giant biblical retelling sort of fantastical?
I guess, yeah, but it's more like a vague allegorical entire biblical plot retelling.
You mean like an actual diligent historical retelling kind of thing, like a recreation almost.
A recreation, or even just like very specifically on that story. Well, I guess no, you're right, because the Kingdom series, like the characters are, it's like, oh, you can tell this one's obviously Paul, or this one's obviously Moses, or
Daniel, or something. Yeah,
so that makes sense. Yeah.
Oh, those are classic.
I don't know.
We used to geek out about the Kingdom series, Candace and I. Like
totally.
Nobody's business.
My bracelet has the I don't know if you can see it. It has the initials for all my favorite series. And right here, TKS is the Kingdom series.
Nice. Oh, wow. See? Still a super fan.
Still geek out about it.
So formative, those books, really.
Totally.
Just set me on course. It's amazing, the books that just, like, make you fall in love with, like, a certain genre. Where it's just like, oh, I want to do this. I want to write this. So thank you, Jeff Black, for the new series. So great. Okay. What now, Candace?
Um,
Say the word.
I don't know. I feel like I'm raring to go for lots more, so we can do another 30-minute one.
Sounds good to me. Oh, what did I just do? There we go.
There you go.
Okay. Hopefully, my goal for this one is to get through this entire scene that I'm working on. That would be
Okay.
productive for me. So, okay, let's see what happens.
See how it goes. Good
See
luck.
you soon. That one was better. For me, anyway. I didn't meet my goal, but it was better. Reggie agrees. How was yours, Candace? I can't hear you.
Because I forgot to unmute myself. That makes sense.
That'll do it.
I was asking if you got close to your goal at least.
I did actually. It was like a classic case of you kind of get into it and then you put down more words than are necessary for the scene. You know, I overestimated or underestimated how much time it would take, but I'm pretty close.
Okay, that's fair.
We have someone else.
Welcome.
Yes, thank you for joining us. What are you working on today? We've got someone editing a YouTube video, which is definitely a valid use of this time. 100%.
Definitely.
It's a productivity sprint.
Yeah.
Not necessarily a writing sprint. Whatever you need to do.
Exactly. That's always good. But yeah, it was pretty productive for me as well. I'm not sure how many words I got, but I felt like pretty good. And I always like it when I end the sprint like ready to do more, you know, like in the middle of a paragraph, ready to keep going.
Yeah. So it's not like you're starting the next one just staring at a blank screen and not knowing what to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, Haley! Hopefully I can join y'all for the next sprint. Got out of class a little while ago and now eating dinner. Nice.
Enjoy your dinner.
Yeah, enjoy your dinner for sure. Mr. Flandis just finished working out. Okay, great. Way to make us all feel like, you know, cherry potatoes.
So we're working on our brains right now, Nikki.
Yeah. Don't have anything to work on. Maybe tomorrow. Fair enough. I mean, sounds like you've been working hard, so
yeah.
No shame there.
Exactly.
Take a break. You're good.
Oh, man. Oh, my mom brought me popcorn.
Oh, wow. Nice. That's service.
It's cute. She, like, knocked on the door. I was like, what? She, like, tiptoed in. She's like, do you want popcorn? I was like, I'm on mute. It's okay, Mom. She was so cute.
Oh, that's awesome. Someone asked me recently what my favorite, like, writing snack is. And it was like, I didn't know how to answer that question. Like, I don't have one. I don't really eat while I write. I don't know. Yeah. Is that a thing? Like, do you do that?
I don't know. I don't I don't have like a solid writing routine. So it's not like this is what I do every time I write. But no, not really. It's just like sometimes I'll grab a snack just in case I get hungry, but it's just kind of whatever's easiest. It's not like a go-to. Because also then, even with popcorn, like it's nice, but then I have to be like wiping my hands every time I take a bite. I more prefer like sipping. Like I have white wine right now, or sometimes I'll make a tea, like a hot chocolate or something to sip because that's easier.
I made a tea before this and then chugged it before it started. So
nice.
Pointless. Good job, Nikki. Good foresight.
Oh, man.
All right. So I didn't finish my goal, but I think I could in another sprint for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You said you're like raring to go.
I am. Yeah, I'm raring to go. I can sleep in tomorrow. I'm really good with anything.
Okay. Well, what time is it? Okay. It's 9:06.
It's like 9, yeah.
I could do another half hour, and then maybe that would give Haley time to like finish her dinner and also catch the tail end of the sprint.
True.
If you want, Haley, no rush. Like, don't rush to finish your dinner. Enjoy it.
Definitely.
But yeah, and then that'll probably be it for me.
Okay.
We can do it again some other time.
Yeah.
Candace is on a roll.
I am. This is great. I find I have a terrible, like I said, I don't really have a good writing routine, so I'm terrible with consistency. But these sprints, man, once I get going, I'm like, if only I actually did this all the time, I would be able to write so much more.
Sure. Well, we'll have to do more of it then, because it is very helpful. 4 a.m.? Wow. Is that to work out, or is that like to write? Some people do get up really early to write. I'm not sure if that would work for me.
Is that Arizona time?
What's easy time? Oh, Arizona time. Yeah, I guess. Is that right?
I guess. I don't know. They're 3 hours behind us, I think. That's my writing time.
Oh,
Wow,
that's
good for you.
Okay. Wow. Well, that is good.
I
Yikes.
wish. Kudos to you, Mr. Vlandis. Wow. That's impressive.
I feel like I could write if I was up that early, but like getting myself up that early, that would be the trick. And like I stay up late to write, so then I just, I'd be an absolute zombie.
Yeah.
Oh, it's 7 p.m. now.
Okay. Oh yeah, because they
so
don't do daylight savings. I think that's why it's too late, or 2 hours. Yeah,
interesting.
man alive. If I was a morning person, I don't know. I feel like it could be great, but it's just getting myself up in the morning. Especially, I sleep in the basement. I get like barely any natural light in the morning, and so it's like dragging myself up in a pitch black room. I'm like, I can't do this.
Cave. Fair. Yeah, I can't really sleep in because I'm not in the basement, so natural light always wakes me up.
That's true.
Wrote for 3 hours before kids went to school.
Nice.
That is amazing.
On that grind. That's great.
Wow. 3-hour writing stint. That is really, really great.
Mm-hmm.
I normally do mine in the evening, so mine starts normally around 7 p.m. that I start like writing and story stuff, and I just kind of go probably for like 2 hours on average, sometimes more than that or less, depending on how quickly I like get my scenes done. Because I organize, if I'm drafting something, I try to do it by scene rather than like by word count. Lately, I used to do the word count thing, but it just didn't feel like progress was being made if you like didn't finish a scene and it's like, okay, I got 2,000 words, but I still feel like I'm no closer to like moving the story forward. So now I do the scene. But anywho,
that makes sense.
Wow, Mr. Vlandis, you're an absolute champion. That is so cool. Goals.
Seriously.
3-hour writing sprint starting at 4 a.m.
4 a.m. Wow. If only.
Are you ready, Candace?
I am. Yes, I'm good to go.
Okay.
Let's go.
We'll see you at the end, everybody. Good luck. All right. That was pretty good. I finished.
Yay!
How about you?
It was good. I finished like some of what I wanted to finish, but I ended up, instead of writing the last few minutes, I started drawing a map because I was realizing I was too confused as I was writing, like location wise, and I was like, okay, I need
Yeah,
to figure out actually where everything is.
that's smart. I should
But
do more of that.
yeah, me too.
Got Bethany. Oh, good. That was a good sprint. Making corrections based on beta reader feedback and -1 comment. You did a whole chapter. What does that look like for you? I'm curious. Like, do people send you all their notes separately and you like compile it all first, or did you send them like a shared Google Doc so you can see all the comments in one place? I'm curious because I'm in the middle of that process right now, and I tried the Google Doc thing, but it just like the page kept crashing for everyone, and there were a few problems, so I'd be interested to know how you did it. Sometimes it's hard to decide what's just my style and what really needs to change. Having a few and comparing what they say really helps. That makes sense. Sister is a writer, and when I really get stuck, she can usually help me make a decision. Also helpful. Yeah. Like when you can't decide whether to like take feedback or not, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's hard.
Oh, I wonder if it wasn't a half an hour for you. Maybe you're just going for like an hour and didn't know. That's why it was so productive.
Oh man, you're like, that's the best half an hour sprint I've ever had.
Doesn't matter how much time it was. We're glad it was productive for you.
Yeah,
that's good.
Exactly.
And that's a job too. Like incorporating feedback and sorting through it and like making those decisions. That's not quick work for sure. Oh, Haley.
Aw, thanks, Haley.
Oh, thanks.
Read 5 pages. Nice.
Nice. What craft book? Out of curiosity. Does it Save the Cat? I still need to read Save the Cat. Have you read that one, Candace?
Nope. I have not.
It's like one of those like how to write a story books, but I think he's a screenwriter.
Oh.
Is that? I think.
I have no idea. I have not read, to my shame, I have not read any craft books. No writing books.
Do not feel bad. I find them like a little tricky. Like I find them kind of overwhelming, so I haven't read a ton of them. I read The Story Equation, and that one was really good. And there was one that I had to read actually for one of my classes last semester. So like it's not one that I would have like, gone out and bought if I weren't in that class. But I was really thankful that he made us read it because it was like, oh, like this is actually really helpful.
Yeah.
I think it was more like literary writing though. So it wasn't as like clear and breaking down like, okay, here are the points of story. It was a little more like general because literary kind of like breaks all the rules, I guess. Plot versus character. Okay, it really focuses on the craft of writing. It has given me a lot of ideas to take into editing. Okay, plot versus character. Just going to write that down.
Yeah, oh, actually, yeah. I'll add that to my Goodreads right now.
I'm trying to like get more into that kind of thing. I find it, Candace and I were talking about this the other day, actually. She was mentioning like AuthorTube and like reading or like watching videos about writer's craft and stuff. But I actually find that harder because it's all like in different places and in different videos. Where you can't just like, oh, I just want to flip back to this page in this nice little diagram where I can see how they broke this down. So I don't know, books are just kind of my go-to.
Yeah, that's definitely easier. I don't know. And also I feel like reading, I don't know why, like sometimes watching a video or like someone talking to you, sometimes it feels more overwhelming than like reading it at your own pace. You feel like, okay, like calm down. I'm doing my best here. Stop like telling me everything I need to do, Whereas reading, you can be like, okay, that's enough for today. I'm done with this. Until tomorrow.
Fair enough. I totally get that. Oh, Bethany, okay, I let my beta readers choose what format. So a mixture of email responses, shared Google Doc, someone who printed. Okay, nice. I requested specifically that people didn't print because I felt so guilty about it. But that's good. Like, some people need to see it on paper, so that is excellent. Got a lot done in your video. Oh, I'm so glad it was super productive. That makes me really happy, and I'm really glad that you guys joined us. This has been great.
Me too. This has been fun.
Hopefully, I would like to do more of these this year than I did last year. Last year got away on me. I was planning to do a bunch in the fall, and then Candace went traveling, vacationing, and I didn't have a writing buddy for the fall, so I don't
Sorry.
No, all good, all good. But yeah, I would really love to do more this like winter and spring, especially just because I know I'm going to have to be like really productive, and this helps because you can't do anything else. You have to just be focused. So, Oh, Haley, another idea for beta reader feedback. I plan to just write questions in a Word document and send it to beta readers. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. You could also do a Google form, which might also work, but I know that
That's true.
Sometimes if you're not like super familiar with Google Forms, that it's fair.
Yeah.
Word doc totally works.
I guess that keeps the feedback very centered on just the specific things. It keeps it away from like people going off if they just don't like your style or something. That can be unnecessary. And even as a beta reader, like writing or reading, like I'm reading your book as a beta reader, it is sometimes hard to know, like, okay, what is clarity, especially in such a giant like book, like world. It's like, okay, how is this supposed to be confusing right now? Will it all make sense later? Which I think is most of the case. It's like you think of Brandon Sanderson. I didn't know half of the stuff that was going on until the end when it all came together. And it's like, oh, that's from the first book. That finally makes sense. So I think that's a lot of it. So maybe being more sure on like, okay, these are the questions. Does this make sense? Does this make sense? Is this clear? Whatever. That can maybe eliminate some of the confusion with feedback.
Yeah, that's a good idea, Haley. I want to do more of that. I've read a lot of authors. I've read of authors doing Google Forms, easy to put in one document. It is actually very easy. Like, they're super easy to make. It's very, what's the term? Not
user-friendly.
User-friendly, yeah. Like, you do not have to be super techy to make a Google form. It's laid out very clearly. But I found that helpful. Like, I did that. I split mine in 2 parts when I sent it out to beta readers, and kind of like what you did with the Google Doc. Like, I had specific questions that I wanted to make sure got through to the readers, so I did the form just for those, like as a little like pop quiz. How well do you understand these things? And just ask those questions there, and I was able to like look at the feedback after, and it gives you the stats, so you can see like, okay, 80% of people, got this question wrong or whatever. So you get a feel for like, okay, clearly that did not get through, or I need to make this clear. I found that helpful. But again, Word doc would work just as well. So no judgments. But it is pretty easy. If you ever wanted to try the Google Doc route, I believe in you. We could do it. Okay. Well, this has been a good night. Good night of sprints. Are you ready, Candace?
Yes, I am ready. It's been good.
Well, thank you so much to everyone for joining us. Hopefully we will do this again soon. And it's been really fun to have you. And have a great night, everybody.
Yes. Have a good night.